In a previous video, we overviewed the four financial tools that we have in retirement decision making: liquidity, risk, covering our income gap, and growth. In our video today, we're going to talk more about the first tool called liquidity. So we said the primary goal of liquidity is to cover the unexpected, the things that we can handle, or those things that are coming up in the short term within the next year or so, any kind of short-term goals or needs. The money that we put into the liquidity goal or bucket is going to be usually a checking account, a saving account, a money market account, somewhere that's usually at a bank or a credit union. But we've got to give up growth, significant growth on that money, for the money that we put in the liquidity column. Current interest rates, current growth rates for checking account, for saving account are anemic, to say the least. Now, one of the biggest challenges when we determine how much is enough to put in the liquidity column is this tension where I need enough money there, but I don't want too much money there because of the opportunity cost of having it in checking or savings when it could be earning a better interest rate or yield or growth rate somewhere else. So how do we go about determining how much is enough for liquidity? So here are some rules of thumb to think through. In terms of the emergency section of the liquidity reserves, you can think of 3 months worth of expenses, even up to 6 months worth of expenses. That's a good rule of thumb, 3 to 6 months worth of your regular expenses. And then in terms of the short-term upcoming needs that you would add to that, think about things that are coming up that you want to have in reserve or in savings. Maybe it is an upcoming vehicle purchase. Maybe you're planning on helping a child or a grandchild with a wedding, or possibly something else. Something you see coming up within the next 12 to 24 months. If you know you already have a need or a goal, it's not a bad idea to have that money set aside in the liquidity, the checking, savings, money market account, along with the emergency reserve portion. It's going to be a personal decision in terms of how much is enough for liquidity. One thing to, I guess, be wary of or think about is, if possible, tie the amount that needs to be in liquidity to real tangible needs. 3 to 6 months worth of expenses plus upcoming needs. Be careful of trying to cover, or another way to say it is having so much in liquidity or in reserves in order to have a feeling of security or a feeling of safety. That's where you might end up overshooting the total amount you actually need in reserves. If ultimately you're looking for a feeling, then ultimately there isn't enough money that we can have in savings or reserve in order to create true financial security or peace of mind.